Hello traders, here's the trade review of the trade I took during the 5th of April. So let's go into a pre-market analysis first. We can see that during the pre-market analysis there is not a strong but a decent trend to the downside, very consistent with a good respect, even though we have a little bit of overrun, but a good respect overall of the mid band, and also a respect of this trend line, this blue trend line I just drawn. And at this point right there we can see that there is a violation of the trend line and the mid band with buyer's reaction. This reaction starts very weak and ends up parabolic because there was somehow some selling stop here. But overall in the macro picture we can see that there's still no higher high just yet, and by the time we get the trade set up in long, I'm not interested in this because buyers start an attempt to continue from here, but they failed. So when we add all the pieces together, no higher high in the macro picture, failure to continue from buyers here, and we are against an overall expectation to the downside, this trade doesn't look really compelling. By the time we get close to market open, we can see that the price is getting compressed between these two lines. So at this point we have two possible scenarios. Either the price is going to break to the upside, and then we are having a sideways expectation, or the price might go to break to the downside, and the most probable scenario is a continuation of the trend to the downside. We can also notice that there is a pattern in the way the market is giving us tops and bottom. Here we can see a double bottom here also, and triple bottom here, and double top here and here. We don't really know if this is going to be useful in the live trading period, but we just have to keep that in mind when trading. So by the time we have market open, there is a break to the upside, and before we get our trade set up in long, we can already see a double top pattern, and a test and a retest of the resistance area. So I'm not interested anymore in this trade because in the sideways context we can expect after test and retest of area, we can expect a rotation back to the other side. So here we don't really know yet what's going to happen, and actually there is a respect of the edge here. For the most aggressive traders, they can take a trade here because of slowdown in price, respect of the edge, strong angle of the fill, and also a slowdown in the BBs. Also based on the fact that there is a failure of sellers here during the multiple attempts down. So this trade can look compelling for some traders. From my point of view, I prefer to stay out at this point, and we can see that there is an attempt of buyers to continue to the upside and break the resistance level, but by the time we get the pullback for our trade setup in long, we can see that the pullback is getting very sharp and strong, so we can expect a fake out breakout of this area, and wait for a deeper pullback. But by the time we get a deeper pullback, it's already too late for buyers, and we see a strong rejection of sellers with a lower low in the micro picture. So that's why I took a trade right here in short for an expected profit target around the support level, and I took my 2 points here. Then we can see that sellers are trying an attempt to break the support, and we can also draw this frequency trend line. So by the time we get the setup in short, I was watching very closely to this trend line, and we can see that the price broke the trend line, but in a very weak manner. So I wasn't no more looking for a deeper pullback, and instead I decided to took my trade one tick away in front of the mid band. So by the time I was in the trade, we can saw some couple of failures to continue from sellers, so I decided to exit from this position and minimize my risk. You can also notice that there was before the pullback through the midband, there was an edge forming before and an attempt to continue from sellers here, which failed also. So all added together, I prefer to minimize my risk. And then there was news piece, and I always stay out during news piece. So we can see that we have a very strong reaction of buyers and a rotation back to the upside for a break of the resistance level. And you can notice that this is really similar to what we have earlier in down. So that's why it's not a really bad idea to look for a trade to the upside here, and for getting filled you should be very aggressive here. Personally, I was waiting for a pullback right there, but I never got filled. So then we get the continuation here, just like before, and by the time we get the pullback for our setup in long, I wasn't interested by this trade, because also just like before we had an edge before the genuine pullback and an attempt for buyers to continue, which failed, just like here. That's why I was looking for a deeper pullback, and finally I got involved into a buy position here. And when I was in this trade, there was a failure of buyers to continue to the upside, and we got a strong reversal bar against me and a quick check on the BBs, and there's also a deeper break of the 30 lines here. So, and also add the fact that this situation is looking a lot to this situation. So when you add all of this together, I prefer to stay out and minimize my risk here. So this analysis happens to be a good one because the price failed and we get a selling reaction, selling attempt here, but we don't have quite yet a lower low. So this was looking suspicious to my eyes, because when we had rotation previously, it happened strong here, it happened strong here, and here it started weak, but it continued strong and in one move. So here there is not that much of a lower low, the move is weak, and by the time we get a pullback there is a very strong reversal bar against us. So I decided to wait for a slowdown, and by the time we get a slowdown, I was expecting a snap here, crackle here, and a little bit of a pop. We never get the pop because the pop failed at this bar, but I wasn't willing to take this trade here because of the risk versus reward, which is not really good at this point for me. So I decided to stay out again, and then finally we see that we don't have any continuation to the downside yet, and instead we have an edge forming here. So instead we also are having a triple bottom, so 3 attempts from sellers to continue, which failed, and we're having a strong, not a strong but a decent, I would say, decent reaction from buyers at this point. That's why I tried to enter into this trade here, but I never got filled, and we also don't have any continuation from buyers at this point, and just like before we're having 2 strong reversal bars against us, just like here. So we could expect a deeper pullback. There is a deeper pullback with the edge. Some traders could enter here aggressively, but I prefer to pass because this overall situation was too much looking to this situation. Even if this trade into the upside is more compelling than this one because of the failure of sellers here and the strong picture of buyers here. So finally, we also don't have any continuation of buyers, and instead we have another reaction of sellers. But this time it's much more compelling to take a trade to the downside for a rotation back down, but we never got the genuine pullback. So finally we have a continuation to the downside and a rotation back all the way down to the support, and we're having a double top pattern, a respect of this frequency trend line and a strong break of this frequency trend line. So I was looking for a slight deeper pullback before entering to this trade, or I was waiting for a slowdown at least, and I missed the trade because of this, but that's okay for me. And then we got the retest of the support and test and retest, again double top, or you can consider all of this a triple bottom as you want, and then we are having a rotation back to the upside again. So at this point I decided to call this a day. I finally took 3 trades in total, 1 winner, 2 small losers, and I end up with 1 point. So that's not a lot, and I'm still good with this in this kind of market, so that's okay for me. So that's it for all the trade I took on the 5th of April. I will do other videos of other days, so let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.